What's up, CroatianSports.com nation? Ante Kvartuč here after the summer break for episode 19. Moj Hajduk. I know it's Hajduk, but we're gonna go with Hajduk for the Diasport around here. Here with my good buddy, we call him the Kit Man around these parts, Mr. Ante Zorić. Zorić, welcome back from the long summer break. How you been, my man?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I could be better. Hajduk brings me a lot of stress in my life. Thank goodness that I have some good Croatian results and medals to keep some kind of balance there
It's
because it's a
it's
big mess. It's a big mess at my club.
it's not just that. We're gonna talk about two things on this one. I think, and we could talk Hajduk probably for hours and hours and hours. We're gonna talk Hajduk, and then we're gonna go into the Dalic winger situation on the call-ups. But it's not even September yet. It's not even September yet, Zorić, and we're hitting the panic button at Poljud. What's going on?
I mean, it seems like it's the same thing every year. Like the people change in charge, but it's the same. It's like the same thing every year that happens. Expectations are high. Um, you know, everyone's getting excited, and then the first European, I obviously we got by these guys from the Faroe Islands, 2-0 on aggregate, and that was even scary when we went there. They were the better team. Our best player was our goalkeeper, Lucic was our best player. I mean, it's very sad that we can't put together, a convincing victory over first the team from Faroe Islands, and then over 180 minutes, we can't score one goal against the fifth or sixth place team from Slovakia.
Rajon Barak, never heard of them before.
I mean, I looked them up today, just the transfer market, because transfer market gives you like kind of an idea of what the values of the players are. And I think their whole team was worth like 6.5 million, and Livaya alone is worth 5 million.
Crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So I mean, the quality is like not even close. Like that's a team that you should score. You should beat by 2, 3, 4 goals on aggregate, and we couldn't even score a goal, which is
Not just
really
that,
bad.
across two legs, 180
Yeah,
couldn't bag one goal.
it's
But
it's it's
look,
it's
look,
really
I'm a Hajdukovac. Look, my family's from Zadar, just like your family's from Zadar. I know you were in the. Correct me if I'm wrong. You trained with Hajduk for a couple summers, correct? You were
yeah. My dad would he'd have me training with Zadar when I was there, and then he had some friends that he met actually when Hajduk came to LA. They came to the Dallas Cup, and then they came to LA and played 2 games, and so he made friends with some of the coaches, and how it goes. They would tell me to come down. I would train for a week or two, and it would be a great experience. Just to see where I
How
was
old were you?
compared to those kids.
How old were you at that time?
13, 14, 15, 16, those years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in your prime, in your
And
prime.
then I even went to one national team camp. I think I was 15 years old. So that was a good experience as well. I think the best player when the captain was a guy named Kaya Kalinic, and he never panned out, but he was an incredible midfielder from Hajduk. I mean, incredible.
But you
So
you've been born and bred as a like Diaspora Hrvat, here in LA. You're a huge personality here in Los Angeles. I would say the average Croatian here knows you. You're close to Hajduk. You've been following this team in the national team forever, longer than even me, because you got a couple years on me. You're
yeah,
a kit guy. Like, what, before we go into Hajduk, what are you sporting there? What Croatian shirt is that with the Lotto on it?
this is a fun shirt. A lot of people probably never seen this one. It was only worn one time against Hungary in 1994. So it was a match in Hungary. I was very lucky to get it from a player that wore it and played in it. I ended up getting a few cool shirts from him.
Is there a
So
name on it? Is there a name on the back?
no, just a number, just a number.
Who is,
Yeah.
are you able to say the name?
Uh, it, well, I don't really want to mention it because
Yeah,
because
okay.
because he sold me his shirts, and that could be a sensitive thing, for
Oh,
some players.
you got it straight from his back. You got it straight from him.
Well, yeah, I called him, and he sold me some of his other shirts, his club shirts as well. So So it's every once in a while I'll get in touch with a player that has kept some shirts, and is once they see that I'm a real collector and stuff, like they wouldn't just sell to anyone.
I mean, I still call you your top two in the world for a Croatian jersey collector. So,
I'm
if
having fun. I'm having fun with it.
you
I'm
got,
having fun. I have almost the '90s are for me. Like a lot of people are gonna be like, like they'll look at these shirts up here, like Sport and Patrick, and a lot of people have never even seen those. They don't really care for them, but they're the earliest shirts. They're the beginning of the Croatian national team,
yeah.
basically.
I
You
mean,
know,
my
19. This Sport shirt was worn back here in 1990. I mean, that was the first game after the USA game. So, that's it's the beginning of all these great results and all these great things that the Christian national team has done. That was the beginning. So,
one day, I don't know where it's gonna be. You're gonna have to open up the Ante Zorić museum, man.
yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
you
We'll
have
see.
I know what you have. I know you don't disclose everything, but you got some diamonds in there. You got some memorabilia that you can't buy. You just have it. It's one of one.
It is. It is. There's a lot of the Croatia games, especially from 1990 to 1995. Croatia, every game they would change either the brand or the shirt. Like we wore Umbro, let's say, in two official matches, and both shirts were different. We wore Patrick in two official matches, both shirts were different. So like every game, the shirts were changing because it was wartime. We weren't in qualifying.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a weird time.
It was just like whatever jersey they can get, they're just popping up.
Yeah, like we
Play.
wore like this shirt back here. This shirt back here, we wore this Lotto shirt. We wore that on our Australia tour in '92, right? And then we come back and we play in Patrick. We play a couple games in
I've never
Patrick.
even heard of that. I've never even heard of Patrick before.
Yeah, it's a French brand. But we played a game in 1991 against Slovenia in Patrick, and then one in '93 against Mexico. Right, Mexico, we beat them 3-0 in Zagreb wearing the shirt. It's actually the one right there. That
Yeah,
one.
I mean my history line starts at 96, and you got stuff 5 years way before that. So I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, once this is one of the first. Well, the first Lotto shirt was the one back there against Australia, which is a really cool one. That was worn by Goran Vlahovic, his first Croatia game. So
yeah,
yeah, it
crazy.
was this
The one
one.
the one you're wearing right there. I've never even
Yeah, it's
seen.
cool. It's got the Lotto. It's got the Lotto kind of logo here. See?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's got the Lotto logo, and then it's got the HNS thing here. So it's cool. It's different.
Very very cool.
And then after that, we started with the checkers. So
And the rest is history.
yep.
And the rest is history. But I wanna very cool, Zoric. I wanna get into the nitty-gritty here of Hajduk. This is the season for me personally. I'm like, this is the season. First time in 20 years. They're gonna win the Prva Liga. They have Levi up there. Puksdash is playing well. Rakitic is coming. They pulled that out of their ass. Perisic was supposed to play. I know he's not at his prime anymore, but coming off a knee injury. And first 4 games of the season, 2 wins, 2 draws. I mean, they beat Slaven. They beat Varaždin. They've already drew Lokomotiva and Istra. They're already 4 points behind Dinamo, and it's not even September yet. They haven't even played the other 2 teams in the top 3, which are Dinamo and Rijeka. They're out of Europe. Perisic isn't there. Gattuso's on the hot seat. What else am I missing here?
And most likely Pukstas is going to leave. They're saying Sahiti might leave as well, but he hasn't been that impressive, and neither has Pukstas, to be honest. He's been off. He hasn't been the Pukstas in top form that he was last year that we saw make a difference. So it looks like those guys are going to be on their way out. They're missing a defensive midfielder. They're missing Japer, who's been injured for a while now. And then they have Livaya kind of in that. He's not playing like a center forward. He's playing kind of like that second forward, but I don't know. He had 2-3 chances. They weren't like the best chances, but I mean, in a game like that, a player of that quality needs to take the ball, take control, and make something happen. And he didn't. And
You're talking about the 18th game this past weekend?
I'm talking about the game against the European game. I mean, the European game was so important, so important for Hajduk's budget, and to be able to get into Europe after so many years, it would have been huge. And when you look at the path they had playing the Slovakian team, and then the Armenian team, the next round they did beat a good Ike Athens team, but I mean, listen, coming to Polyud, it, against the team from Armenia, you don't know how they're going to react. Maybe you get by them. You don't know. But I think the whole Pedicic thing kind of messed up the energy as well.
I mean, what do you think happened with Perisic behind closed doors? We know what happens in Slobodan
Well,
Dalmatia. We know what
the
happens
thing
in
that
Hajduk
the
and
thing that
Saka.
I don't understand is from what I know, Pukstas and Sahiti both said that they wanted to leave. So why are you singling out Perisic? Do you know what I mean? Like it's a bit strange. Like
I wonder.
those
I
two
wonder.
guys are both starting. So why are you giving Perisic a hard time? Let him play. Like if he would have come off the bench against Ružomberok, he might get your goal. That takes you to the next round. You know what I mean? Like, so why are you picking on him? I don't know.
I think he knew he was gonna come and be king of the castle, and that all the Splitchani and Polju were gonna be behind him. How can you not? That's exciting for a player of Perisic's caliber to come to Hajduk after Spurs and Inter Milan and playing in the Bundesliga. How healthy is he? He's not 100%. If he was 100%, he would have been starting at Euro 2024. Do you agree with that?
Well, he did start in one game, right? He started in the second game against Albania, I believe.
He wasn't.
Uh,
I gotta look at it, but he didn't start multiple
I
games at
think
Euro.
no, just one.
He didn't
But
start multiple
I
games.
mean,
But
you
that
have to
tells
look.
me. But that tells me you're not 100% healthy.
Of course,
100%
he knew
Perisic,
that, and I
right?
said the same thing. I said I'd be before the Euros. I said he'll make the roster. I see him coming in off the bench last 30 minutes to maybe make a difference. But you could tell he wasn't himself. He
Zorić,
was
he's
far.
still making the roster. He's still making the
Yeah,
roster.
I know, but for me, this is a really sad situation for him because I know he loves Split. I know he loves Hajduk. He came back to try to help, and now these Hajduk ultras, these people in Split, they're very extreme. And now you put a guy in a really bad situation. When he comes to Split later in life, he comes with his family. He's going to be dealing with that for the rest of his life, which for me is really sad. He doesn't deserve that. You know what I mean?
Of course he doesn't deserve it. But what I could only imagine, they got into a dick measuring contest, him and Gattuso, and Gattuso didn't back down because Gattuso is going to be Gattuso. We know what kind of personality he is. He's already thrown players under the bus this
Yeah,
season.
I don't agree with what he did. I don't think he should have come out and said that about him. I think he should have. Listen, Perisic is one of the greatest players in Croatian football history. You can't treat this guy like a normal player. He's not. He's a special player. You have to understand. A lot of people don't even know the history behind Perisic. He left at, I don't know if he was 15. I mean, who wants to leave home when they're 15 years old? He got
Yeah.
a contract in France at Sochaux, and they saw something in him. He was on the youth national team, so he left. He was a kid, and he didn't. When you look at the fact is, he didn't make it in France. He left France. He went to Belgium, and that's when he started playing well and earned a transfer to Germany. So he went through a lot in his life, you
He
know.
went through a lot of young ages. I don't know if you say it so show, but
Yeah.
he went to Club Bruges, and he was the highest scorer one season that he was at Club Bruges, goes
Yeah.
to the Bundesliga, and the rest is history. He's on my Croatian Mount Rushmore, top 4 Croatian soccer players of all time.
I mean, I think he's the all-time tournament goal scoring leader, right? For Croatia, which I know he's played a lot more tournaments than Šuker and some of these guys, but still to own that title, and he's not even a forward. I mean, he's a winger. So I mean, what he's done for Croatia is incredible. What he's done at the club level, winning the Champions League, winning the Italian league. I mean, he's played in 4 of the top 5 leagues in
He won
Europe.
Champions League with Bayern Munich that when he
Bayern,
was on
yes.
loan. He won a Champions League, and he comes to Split. He comes to Poljud, and he gets booed out of town before the seats are warm. Like, there's something. Look, I'm a Hajduk guy. I'm a Hajduk
Yeah.
guy. I want them to win the league, but there's something in the culture there at Hajduk that just it's like not even Murphy's Law. It just goes to shit as soon as it can go to shit.
Whatever they've been doing, they keep doing over and over again. They keep bringing these like average foreign players, and instead of letting the youngsters play, they're forcing these like, you know, mid-20s, late-20s foreigners who offer not much. That's just the reality. They're not great players. They bring them usually for free. And it's like, if you're going to bring a guy for free from the side, why not just let your 18, 19-year-old who just went to the Champions League final for the youth, let him play?
I was
You
just,
know,
you took the words out of my mouth. Hajduk was literally just in the UEFA Youth Champions League final 2 seasons ago. Like, you have a great caliber team. Run those guys that you own already.
Let them play. And the thing is if your model is selling players, people don't want a 27-year-old player. They want a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. That guy has the few games like Buke, he's sold for $6.5 million. You know, those are the guys that are going to make you the money if you need that money to survive. That's the reality.
What a sale that was. What a sale. If they got $6 million for him, oh man. But look, this is what I'm saying. Look, I thought Hajduk was gonna win the title last year. They were up 7 points on Dinamo, something like that. Don't quote me, in April. And I think Dinamo
Yeah, but the problem is once the injuries started, they don't have
no depth.
they don't have the depth. And Dinamo has two great teams. Like somebody was saying, I think it was Jeličić or one of these guys were saying that Dinamo's first and second team would be challenging for the title, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel bad for Rakitic. You know, he thought Perisic was going to be there. He left $10 million on the table leaving. And I mean, look at this team. They're playing not good football. The results are bad. The atmosphere is bad. Everything's negative. Something needs to change at that club.
What it's, buddy, we're 3 weeks in. What do you change this early? If you're the GM, what's the first thing you change right now?
I don't even know why. First of all, why is Nikola Kalinic the sports director? What qualifications does he have to be making the decision to bring a guy like Gattuso? And reportedly, if true, he's making 2.4 million euros a year for what? What has he shown? We're not playing good football. We're not scoring goals. We're not winning. We're not doing anything. So, I mean, this is so far. If you look at it, it's a big failure.
So you're sounding the panic button right now?
I mean, one of your goals is always to get to Europe. That's already gone, right? Dinamo is looking great. They won their first Champions League qualifier 3-0. They're about to get 35 million euros in their bank account once they qualify. I mean, that gap is just getting bigger and bigger, you know? So Hajduk has to do something. And if you're not going to be able to win the league, then play your young players. I would rather see 8 or 9 guys from Split from their youth academy playing. And okay, you want 1 or 2 guys from the side, that's okay. But why are we bringing 5, 6 guys? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Rakitic, but him and Krovinovic basically offer the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like Rakitic, you got a good experienced player, but you're missing a winger, you're missing a forward, there's all these positions that you're missing.
But it's a split carousel. We have the same conversation. I've had this conversation with Lebo a million times. You know, Lebo likes to get under everyone's skin because he's a Dinamo guy. But you know what? You know, he's been right for years. It's just, what is it at Hajduk that they just can't figure it out? It's been 20 years since they won a Prva Liga title. Like, that's,
this formula
crazy.
that they're doing is obviously not working, and they need a drastic change. And if that drastic change is cutting your budget by letting go of these, you know, bigger salary guys and letting your youngsters play, I would not mind at all if Hajduk is finishing third with 5 18 to 20-year-olds in their lineup. That's fine. But when you're spending 13 14 million euros on your salaries and you're finishing third, you're finishing behind Rijeka, who's got a much smaller budget than you, that's a problem. It's a big problem.
I mean, okay, you're the GM tomorrow. Look, how quickly can it change in the world of football. You know, we're all emotional beings.
Listen, I don't know exactly what the politics are of Nash Hajduk and the people running Hajduk, but there's a lot of qualified people, Slaven Bilic, Aljosha Stanovic. There's people that would want to help, but those people don't come close to the club. That's the reality.
It's
You know,
it's the same thing we say about Boban coming back to the Savas. He's like,
those
no,
are the
thank you.
people. Those are the people that you want around the club. People that have experience. People that love the club. A lot of people talk a lot of trash about Stiemats, but you know he brought them. He brought Hajduk their last title in 2005. That's the reality. So
What do you think it would take to get one of those big personalities to get in there? They would have to
well,
say, hey, you know what? The only way I would do that if I was them is like, hey, I need full control. I don't want 40 cooks in the kitchen. Let me do this and give me
well,
3 years to do it.
the issue is the ownership structure of the club. That's the big issue. So the city owns more than 50% of the club, right? Nash Hajduk owns over 30%, and they make all the decisions. So the city does not want to get involved in the politics. They're letting these guys who own 30%, they're letting them run the club, and they're running the club very poorly. That's just with the reality.
As stakeholders.
Yeah.
But
So how are you going to get somebody on? You can't. They're running the show. So it's there, but the problem is nobody's taking responsibility for these failures.
yeah, it's a bunch of people just running into each
We
other.
don't know who these people are. They're in the shadows. We don't know who they are. There's no names. You know what I mean?
But you said something earlier ago. They keep doing the same thing over and over again. They're getting the same results. You know what the definition of that is? It's insanity. That's
Yeah.
the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again. Like this year it's gonna be different. This year it's gonna be different. I thought they sold me on this season being different. I'm like, you're bringing in Rakitic, Perisic. Not that they're in their prime. They're not young
Listen,
bucks anymore.
if they got Dzeko, who they were talking about getting, I mean, Dzeko's a guy that's gonna average, he's gonna score a lot of goals for you. But they couldn't get him. So, I mean, they need a forward to play with Levi. Levi cannot do it himself. That's just what the reality is. So it was unfortunate.
If they got Dzeko, Perisic, Rakitic, I know they're all in walking into the sunset in the next couple of years. Zorić, excuse my language, they would figure out a way to fuck it up.
Well, listen,
Figure it out.
we don't know. We don't know what would happen. But when you have a guy like Rakitic that could play balls to Dzeko, I mean, who knows what would happen? We don't know. We don't know how much Dzeko can still run. Maybe Perisic just comes in the last 30 minutes, but the way it's looking, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
I said this already. They're 4 games into the Prva Liga season. They've already dropped points in 2 games against Lokomotiva and Istra. And they were down to Istra on the road this past
I
week.
mean, they gave up a goal in the first minute,
Yep.
and then they have 100% chance in the 95th, and I don't know what that guy's doing. I mean, one-on-one all you have to do is keep the ball low, and he kicks it over the goal. But like watching the game, you could feel like Hajduk's not going to win. There's just like it's weird. You could like almost feel it on the players that the negativity, just a bad atmosphere. The atmosphere is not good. There's a lot of negativity there.
I was watching the Istra game. It's almost that same energy of kind of the last 10 minutes of the Albania game, the last 10 minutes of Italy, and you're just like, just blow the whistle. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. And just kind of like that lack of confidence.
That's what it is.
Teams away. What's going to happen when they play Rijeka? What's going to happen when they play Dinamo? They haven't even played either of those teams yet.
I mean,
like you said, Zorić, they lost in Conference League qualifying to a team called Rajon Barak. I've never even heard of them before, who finished fifth in the Slovakian league last year. And Hajduk didn't score 1 goal against them in 180 minutes to make Conference League and get I think you get like $3 or $4 million, something small like that. Dinamo's going to 90 minutes away from getting a $35 million check for Champions League. That's crazy.
It is, and the gap is just going to keep getting bigger. Dinamo has done a great job. I've watched them play as well, and I see some of these guys they brought in. I mean, they can play, and they're not even fully integrated into the squad. So. They have to have 2 good squads though to be able to play Champions League, HNL, and they do. They have 2 good squads. So
look who they sold the past 2 seasons. They've sold Livakovic. They've sold Shutalo. They had Danny Olmo a couple of years ago, and they haven't even blinked.
I
They haven't
mean,
even blinked.
I've been watching Dinamo, and that Baturina is more experienced now. He's playing with more confidence. I mean, that kid can play. And that's another one. That's another one who got away from Hajduk. You're talking about a kid whose dad played for Hajduk. Sad.
I know. I was gonna bring up Baturina right now. Have you been watching him at all? Are you
Yeah.
watching? Are you watching the games or just the highlights?
Yeah, I watched that last Champions League game, and he hit the crossbar, he hit the post, he had some assists. Like,
Kid can ball.
he's a great player. And we were talking about him last year, even that as for me the best Croatian player, the best player in the Croatian league.
It's gonna be him versus Sucic for this 10 spot in the next 5 years.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, it's weird. We have a lot of players that can play that position. You got Mayer, you got Vlasic when he's healthy, you got Pasalic, you got like 5 guys that can play that position.
We're all cams. We're all number 10 cams.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And yeah, we've been playing you know where I stand on playing the midfield trident of the 6, 8, and 10, or with the 6, 8, and 8 with Kovacic and Modric.
Yeah.
But this brings me into my next point. What the hell is Zorić doing not bringing up any natural wingers for Nations League? The one little mini tournament of qualifying or whatever you want to call it in the next couple of weeks. We're playing Portugal and Poland. And he didn't call up Marco Pasalic. He doesn't call up Piazza, who are at least natural wingers, and he doesn't call them up. I saw that squad list. I went like, oh, you're just gonna die on the cross with your veterans. He doesn't even give a shit.
He's just telling us that I don't need wingers. Like, that's basically what he's telling us. That's it.
Am I missing anything? Am I being crazy? Tell me if I'm being crazy or not.
No, he's like I got Mayer that can play on the wing. I got Kramaric that can play on the wing. I got Mario Pasalic that can play on the wing. So he's once again he's putting these makeshift center mids wide. I don't know. I mean,
why don't put Modric on the wing? Why don't put Livakovic on the wing?
It's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like without Bros. It is going to be interesting. Let's see. Zorić has figured out before, in these generation changes, how to get results. Unfortunately, the results were not with us this last tournament. Let's see what happens.
What you said about how we're going to do without Brozovic, it scares me because I think he's just going to dump in Jakic into the number 6 and call it a day.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be Modric, Kova next to each other, and then I think Kova might be hurt. So we'll have to see who's going to play that. Who's going to play in the middle with Modric.
I think it's a small blessing in disguise. All right. All you Kovacic lovers out there, close your ears right now. Cover your ears. I don't hate Kovacic. Kovacic is going to be our number 8 when Modric retires after the 2026 World Cup. I've been saying this for years. He's going to be our engine. It's fine. But you can't play 2 number 8s next to each other and then and in lieu of a number 10. We could have been running with a Mayer or a Kramaric or a Sucic this past year in front of him. Instead, we just put all these number 10s on the wings and everything. It's awful. I've been watching, bad example, but you're watching Real Madrid, you're watching Vinny. Look, he might win the Ballon d'Or this year. He runs with speed on the flank. He's kicking it back in the middle. He's taking shots. He's taking one-on-one. Remember what Perisic was doing at like Euro 2016 and World Cup 2018?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Crazy. What are we doing now? We go up 5 yards and kick it back in the middle.
I said before the Euros, I would like to see Piazza and Marco Pasalic start. That's what I said.
How many times did that happen?
I prefer natural wingers. That's me. Now, obviously, Zorić does not. He wants guys that can put the ball on the floor, that can try to combine. I prefer guys that can go at players and try to beat them one-on-one, which Mayer can't. He just can't do. He's not an explosive player. He's a finesse player. He's great with the ball at his feet, but he's not gonna beat someone down the line and swing across to Budimir. It's not gonna happen.
But so look, we haven't had anyone since Perisic was in his prime at the World Cup. I mean, he was a little slower, but he was still okay at the World Cup, in my opinion. We still haven't had any service from the wings.
No.
Since the World Cup in Russia.
And the sad thing is you have a guy like Budimir there who's a target man who can finish chances, but you have nobody to get him the ball.
We're playing if you're going to use a basketball analogy, we have one center Like we have a shack up there, and we're playing with 4 point guards.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing.
yeah.
And
So it's
no
like,
shooters on the sides.
like you said, it's like, why even have Budimir there if you can't get him the ball? You know, it's like put Kramaric up top and put a number 10 behind him. Then I don't know what else. I don't know what he's trying to do. You know,
I lost faith in Dalic and at this last Euro. I think he knows him and Modric are on his way out. There's no way either of them are going past 2026 World Cup in the United States. There's absolutely
no. I think they're both going to leave together. I think so.
But you know, so many people, especially this past weekend. Kramaric hat trick for Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
Mayat had 2 goals this past weekend for Wolfsburg against Bayern Munich, right? Both
Yeah. One was a penalty, but still good. I mean, there's still goals. You still got to put the ball in the back of the net. So I mean, we have to see. We have to see what this new look Croatia is going to be without Brozovic. I mean, Brozovic. You know, people don't realize when you see all those kilometers ran, like that, he's all over the place, you know? And what's the person that's replacing him? What are they going to offer? We have to see.
It's got to be Kovacic.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he puts Mario Pasalic next to Modric in the next game, since if Kovacic is out. Like I think he could play that role as the number 8, go up and down and help the attack there.
It'll be interesting to see if Kovacic plays or not. It seems like it could be a minor knock. Guardiola said like we'll see this week what's going on. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I would love to see Kovacic in the 6. I would love to see Kovacic in the 6. Play Modric in top. We know we're not going to bench Modric, and then you get to play a 10 in front. That's been my dream for 4 years now. He's never going to do it. Or if you want to go technical.
Well, I mean, this is the thing: is if Modric and Kova are playing, the 6 and the 8, you can kind of switch. One goes forward, the other drops, the other one goes forward. But it's that position in front when you have a guy like Zorić there, who's a scoring threat, who can get between the lines. You're adding another aspect to your game, which we didn't have before. Because Kovacic, I mean, he did score a goal recently, and every time, he scores a goal once every 6 months or so.
But it's a beauty.
But it just doesn't happen often.
No,
he just
you talking about the Man City
yeah,
goal?
Yeah, I'm talking about that goal he scored. So he just doesn't. He's not dangerous offensively. He doesn't have a shot outside the box. He doesn't. If he does, he doesn't use it. Whereas Zorić, we saw Zorić. He's not afraid to hit that ball outside the box.
But we need that guy. We need the Baturina. We need a Piazza or a Marco Pasalic. That's what they do. Cut in. Kind of like those Adi and Robbins, back in the day, where you kind of cut it through the middle and start ripping shots.
Listen, I want to see some of these youngsters start getting incorporated. I want to see him try, maybe, bring a young forward. Bring a young forward.
Win.
Yeah. Win. Bring this kid Ljubicic, who's playing in Austria, who's fast, who has that profile like Manjo. Like, let's see what he can do. Put him out there for 30 minutes. Let's see how he fits in.
Look, I like the Matanovic call up because we're just gonna cap him. I know we're gonna just cap him so he's ours. Yeah. It's more of a business move. The fact that he didn't call up Piazza or Marco Pasalic, and Pasalic has 2 goals for Rijeka in back-to-back weekends. One was really nice 2 weekends ago. Look, I'm a firm believer of you got to play guys in their proper positions. And look, he was playing Kramaric on the right side. He plays Mayer there. Mario Pasalic is all over the place. Kramaric was on the left side during Euro 2024.
Yeah.
We're playing possession ball. Everyone knows we're going to play possession ball, and we're not scaring anyone.
I know. Listen, we have to see what this new look Croatia is going to be. Dalic is going to try this thing again, and if it doesn't work, we have to hope that he changes something. And he doesn't keep forcing it.
You know what my dream is with this team, because we have so many center midfielders. 3-5-2.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I know he's not going to do it.
Coaches are just not used to it. They're just not used to it, and it's risky. It's risky. And what we do know from Dalic is he's a very cautious coach.
I know.
He doesn't like. He doesn't like. How many times we get scored on, then we go and score again? Like we could score first if we want to, but we wait and we're always waiting and feeling things out, and then the other team managed to get some lucky goal, and then we start playing. I would much rather score the first one and then try to score a second one.
Well,
But
I
but
do. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir. Yeah, but it's it's like nice guys finish last, but
But we've
us.
seen it. We saw it at this Euro from all the teams. England was playing the same way. They were playing super cautious, like not
Yeah.
attacking. France, to the only team that played football was Spain. I'm so glad that they won it because they're the only team that played football. That they attacked. They wanted to score.
But not just that, they didn't even whimper when they got scored on. I think they got scored on first in 2 matches. And they just
Mhm.
went, all good boys, play our game. They score the
That's it.
equalizer, score the second
We're
goal.
gonna score. We're gonna score more goals, and that's it. And I love that. That's
Hey,
that's that's the kind of football we all want to watch.
hey, Croatian Sports called it. Marcus called it before the tournament. He's like, don't worry about Spain's midfield. Don't worry about Morata. It's like Nico Williams and Yamin Yamal. Even though they're kids, these guys are fast on the outside. The coach let them play, let them dribble, go
That's
out there, play without fear, and they roasted everyone the entire
it.
tournament.
They made the difference. They made the difference in that team. But that and we really didn't know how much and how good they were until obviously the tournament, and then they were doing it game after game. So they proved that they're top players. I mean, I'm still amazed at the maturity that Yamal and his decision making.
Huge.
I mean, scoring what was it, in the semifinals against France. I mean, the kid's 17. It's incredible what he's doing.
I think, and we're not in the Spanish locker room, but I think you sit these guys down, you put your hand on their shoulder and make sure they don't shit the bed and go out there and play the game that you learn how to play. You have the talent. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And what do? Our players are like entering boccia tournaments at their age. They're all old guys, and
Well, that's one thing that I really don't like about the Croatian coaches is they put so much emphasis on the seniority and the age of the players and who's older and this guy's been waiting and he's next in line. It's like, no, if this kid's 18, 19 and he's better than that guy, play him. You know what I mean?
politics, man.
Like
Politics.
we have good young players always. There's always good 18, 19, 20 year olds, but they don't even get a look because they're young, you know?
Zorić has publicly said, "I'm gonna live and die with my veteran players that got me the success." End of story.
Yeah. No, I know. I know.
And then
I mean,
we come on, and I read some of the comments, and
yeah.
where I stand on comments. I'll read a couple here and there, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are Croatian haters and don't know anything you're talking about." I think we know
Listen,
more than you know about what we're talking about, but it's like it's some of the things are so obvious for me, and he just won't do it.
listen, I mean, we saw it after that first game, we saw Brozovic was done. I mean, and you know what? He paid Dalic back with that third game. He had his best game against Italy, but it took him 2 games of basically warming up to be able to play one good game, you know?
You said it
So
best. You said it throughout the tournament. You go, look, he's not in form. He's not playing in Europe anymore. He took the cash to go to Saudi
that's
Arabia.
it. That's
There's
it.
going to be a drop off. There's going to be a drop
Yeah,
off.
that's it. And we saw that he couldn't hang. And Dolly should have said, "Listen, man, I'm sorry, but you're not playing your best football. I gotta play somebody else." And that's it. You know.
It's it,
So it's unfortunate that he didn't want Brozovic to end his Croatian football career in that way, and that was his decision. And we were still 5 seconds from one kick from going to the next round. And we get through there. Who knows? We're not talking about this.
you see, I think don't quote me on this. I think it was Danny Carvajal in the quarterfinals or the semifinals. It had to be in the quarterfinals of Euro. Um, who was it? Germany was coming down the left flank. And
Yeah.
on a breakaway, he took the second yellow card, walked off the
Yeah,
pitch.
man. You tackle the guy. You just pull him down with your hands, you grab his shirt, whatever you got to do. You can't let that guy get between Maya and Bros and just let him just walk through them. And then our defenders who were covering the other players. I don't even want to talk about that. That was just depressing.
Like I hate going back to games that we lose and get knocked out of the tournament because it's never fun. But I watched that clip of Italy coming right down the middle.
I know.
What are we doing? What are we
Depressing.
what are we doing? But look, I looked at this lineup that's going against Portugal and Poland in a couple weeks in September for Nations League. Nations League is the one time where at the beginning of a cycle, you get to experiment, and we're gonna put the same shit on the wall over there. It's gonna
Have
be
your
the
wing.
thing.
You're gonna tell me you can't put the wingers on the bench and then give them 30 minutes to see what they can do? It's like, come on. We're gonna take Mayet off the wing and put like Mario Pasalic or put like Baturina out there. It's like, come on. I know these guys are good players, but if they're not, if they're wide, they're not themselves. You know.
The thing is, we've had the puzzle pieces since Rakitic and Mandzukic left the team in 2008 to be another deep tournament team. You saw it at the World Cup. I think we got lucky in Qatar. You win 2 penalty shootouts. I don't care what day of the week it is. There's a little bit of luck in that. I never want to go to penalty shootouts. But he's just misplaying these players. He's misplaying them. And
Well, listen, he's been doing it, and the results have been coming. Like I said, and this last tournament, he did it, and we didn't get the results. So then you have to criticize the play. You know, if you're winning, I'm not going to say anything. If you keep winning and we're playing bad, that's fine with me. I prefer the winning. I always prefer the winning first.
I'm gonna say something.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say something. I get thrown under the bus around it, but I go, sometimes it's the wrong move. And I've been saying Modric and Kovacic shouldn't be playing next to each other since 2018. Remember, Kovacic basically
No, they weren't. They weren't playing next to each other. It was Broz was playing with Modric, and Kova was playing in front.
Where in 2018?
Well, 2018, he wasn't even starting. Kova wasn't even starting.
No. I was gonna say Kovacic basically since 2018 popped in for Rakitic. It was a 1-for-1 swap.
Yeah, Kovacic wasn't starting. Rakitic was starting.
2 different players though. He does too many of these kind of like just plug and plays, and it doesn't. We haven't seen the results in 4 years.
I was one of the main people that said I don't like Kovacic in that offensive midfield position because he can dribble, he can make a pass, but you have to have a scoring threat in that position. And he doesn't know how to get between the lines like Vlasic does, like Pascal. These guys do it naturally. They find these spaces between the defense and the midfield, and they get the ball there and they turn, and you create dangerous situations. And Kovacic, he naturally comes back for the ball. Close, he likes to combine with Modric and Broz, and then you have a big gap, and that big gap is a big problem.
I'm gonna tell you something you don't hear a lot from Croatian to Croatian. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I agree with you.
We talked about this many times. So now let's see. Is he going to play Krama behind Budimir? Is he going to play an offensive midfielder? I don't know. I have no idea. We're gonna have to see because Broz is gone. It opens up a space in the midfield, and he's going to have to change some things around. So we'll see.
What if this is my greatest fear? This is my greatest fear, and if he does this, I want to know what your opinion is because he's bringing Jokic back into the fold. If he just plugs in Jokic into the 6, how do you feel about that?
It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right
100%.
now. It's not going to happen. He's going to be on the bench. He's not starting.
Okay, he's going to play. If we're playing a 4-4-2, he's gonna play a CDM.
No, Jokic is not starting.
Not Jokic. 100%.
You'll see Moro start before Jokic. That's my opinion.
Okay,
You'll see Moro will start before Jokic.
I know, but he plays this just plug and play. I can almost get rid of the number 6.
I don't see Jokic starting. That's my opinion.
I have a fear.
I would be very surprised. I would be very, very surprised if Jokic started.
All right, we'll put the jersey that you're wearing on the line for it. I think I still owe you like 3 kegs of Karlovac for like 3 straight bets I lost to you.
Oh no,
I owe you a lot of beer. No, we're fine.
We're fine. You can give me a beer next time we see each other. You give me 1 beer. I'm happy.
God, I need you to authenticate all these old shirts I have, whether they're fake from China or straight from the Savas. But
we'll check them out. I had to learn the hard way when I first started. I made some mistakes, and that's how you learn real quick.
I believe that.
When you pay for something and you find out that it's not real.
You got to lose the first time before you can win. That's what they say in sports. That's what they say in sports. So
then you find experts. Well, you have to find experts to ask. People that have the right ones, and that's what I always do when I find something. I just make sure with my other friends who know. Just make sure it's correct.
You got quite the collection. You just hooked me up with a Modric game ready locker room Nations League Denmark jersey, the red and
Yeah,
white.
those are cool because we're actually the only team that has the little chip in the grip.
Yeah,
You can put your phone over that, and it takes you to the HNS website and to Modric's page, which is pretty cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
What? But why put that in the jersey if only 3 of those are made per game? What the hell are you gonna do with the chip if they only made it in
Well, that just shows that it's authentic. That basically is
Yeah,
proving that it's authentic, right? You can't fake that chip.
do you have any of the 2024 red and white jerseys in your collection right now?
Yeah, I have Zorić against Albania.
You got the Sucic?
Yeah, I got his worn one. Yeah.
Those jerseys are horrible, man.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? In real life, they actually like the material and stuff. They look nicer when you're holding it.
Man, are you
I'm just
justifying that one
I'm just
hard?
not a big fan of the big checkers. That's all. I hope we go back to smaller checkers.
We look like jockeys in the Kentucky Derby, man.
Oh man, I really like the blue one. Unfortunately, we weren't able to wear it. You know.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm
We weren't able
trying.
to wear it in the tournament, so hopefully we'll be looking good in Nations League in the blue.
So disappointed. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, just to wrap up here, we'll go another 3 minutes and get you out of here. State of Hajduk. Let's say their first games of the season against Rijeka and Dinamo, and they win those games. Does that change the entire season around, or are you hitting the panic button and the sell button right now?
I mean, from what I've heard, Pukstas and Sahiti are most likely leaving. So if Sahiti leaves, I would like it if they could start playing Brajkovic, who was the winger for that Youth Champions League team. I like him. He's a good player. He's a good left-sided winger. He's young. Pukstas, I mean, he leaves. We got Rakitic there. You got Krovinovic. You have some midfielders that can play. I know there's a couple guys on the bench that haven't even gotten a chance. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I really don't like I like Gattuso's energy, but I don't like I don't like the football that his teams play. Like there's no fluidity, There's no the ball's not moving fast. The chances aren't being created. It's all kind of it's not nice to watch. It's not pleasant to watch.
They hired him for the social media. This one's for you, Label. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. It's one of the greatest lines ever said in a press conference. Are you kidding me? Right here.
The guy is obviously addicted to these cities with crazy ultras because he's coached Marseille and he coached Napoli, and now these are like the most hardcore fans. So he must obviously feed off of that. I just wish that we would play some good football. I hope it gets better because the way it's going, it's not good. But if he does leave, I think Hajduk would have to pay him a big severance, unless he quits himself and leaves.
They're paying him what, 2.2 million euro, I believe, something like that.
I mean, reportedly his salary is 2.4 million euros. I don't know if that's net or gross, or you know what I'm saying. But his severance would be pretty big too. Probably 1.5, 2 mil, something like that.
It just
they put themselves in a bad situation.
All right, I'm giving you a $1,000 bill in Vegas, even odds. Does Gattuso make it past Christmas in Split? Yes or no?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell because I mean, if he has a few more bad results, like what are you gonna do? You have three. If you go 3-4 games, you only win 1 out of the 4. You have 2 ties and a loss, something like that. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm letting you put on black or red. We're not playing European roulette. No green. Black or red. Does he make it past Christmas?
I'd get rid of him right now, personally. Personally, he can go. Him and Kalinic. Him and the sports director. Bye-bye, both.
These guys have been there for 3 months.
That's enough. That's enough.
3 months. So you don't think he's making it past Christmas?
You can't get by Rujon Berok. You don't deserve to be sitting in your office.
Fifth place Slovakian league. They couldn't score 1 goal against them. That's unacceptable.
And then the team goes and loses 3-0 in the first leg against the Armenian team. 3-0 they lost.
You know what? You know what's a big game this weekend? They this Saturday, Hajduk host Osijek. Osijek
Mhm.
have been trash to start the season so far. No,
Man, how about we didn't even talk about them in Europe? They freaking missed 4 penalties out of 5. Like
eh,
what do you how do you not know how to hit a pen? It's like 50-50. I mean, it's at least 50-50, right? So
I watched
you have to at least score 2 or 3.
I watched a lot, but the other team, I think that it was Gira from Azerbaijan, I think.
Yeah.
They were going back and forth, just missing them left and right. It
Yeah,
was
and then they moved on and lost 6-0 the next round. So that just shows you where our Croatian teams are, basically. So
and
the only serious team Croatia has is Dinamo. That's just the
Dinamo. It's
um
Dinamo and Rijeka and Rijeka.
Rijeka just tied Olimpia Ljubljana, and then they play them this next week coming up for a conference league because they dropped out of the Europa League to the conference league, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But what
So
I mean,
we'll see if they can get into Europe and Dinamo gets into Europe. 2 teams, I mean,
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
I
yeah, but
would have
one
liked
team, not enough.
I would have liked Dinamo with 2 conference league. I didn't think Rijeka was ever going to qualify for Europa. There's some good teams in Europa League qualifying.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I think we should have been like Dinamo had an easy path, but they're making the best of it. Their pockets are getting richer. And are you familiar with this new Champions League format? First time this year?
You know what? I haven't really looked into it, but I heard you only play one game against the team at home, and then or one time against each team. Is that what it is?
36 teams, so it's
Yeah.
up from 32, 36. So
Mhm.
there's 4 pots of 9,
Yeah.
and you're gonna play 8 games, not
Each team one time. Yeah.
one home, one away against the pot A, B, your own pot, and then D. I think Dinamo's gonna be in pot C. Uh,
Mhm.
and it's a whole table. It's like a league standing for the first 8 games. It's gonna be much
Yeah,
much
I mean
better.
they had to change that because of the whole threat of the Super League. You know, they had to give the clubs more money, and they had to kind of they did this to rival the Super League, basically.
Yeah. But
You
it's
know,
it's better for fans on the competitive side because now, if a Real Madrid's on the cusp of a seventh, eighth, ninth place, instead even though they're in the next they're not necessarily in the next round, so you're gonna have to go for points against who's in there, like a Eintracht Frankfurt or something like that for points instead of locking up group stage the first 3 or 4 games
yeah,
and sleeping. So we'll see how it happens. I'll post it on the website when we know who's Dinamo's playing. Barring a Hajduk collapse for Dinamo, they're gonna be in the Champions League top 36.
yep. I mean, Dinamo's consistently there, and you can tell they have that winning mentality. You see it in the Croatian league, like when the game's tied, it's in the 80s, 80, 80th minute. You can see they're pushing. They want to score. They know they can score, and often they do. You know,
Hey,
so that's a mentality thing, and Hajduk has been missing that winning edge. They don't have it. They just don't have it. You
well,
know.
look, but Turina's balling on a team that Petkovic is getting older. But this Kulenovic guy, Jesus Christ, like just someone lit a
I've
fire.
been, I've been following him for a while, and he was actually he left Croatia. He was in the Juventus youth. He was at Juve for a year or two playing for their juniors, and then I don't think he signed a contract. And he came back to Croatia. He ended up playing in Poland, I believe, for a year or two, and then he came back. But he's just hot. He's hot right now. You know.
Not I mean, there's hot, and then there's what he's doing. I mean, he's
Yeah.
coming off the bench and scoring
Boring. Yeah.
braces for him. But I'm just, man, I thought this was a season like for Hajduk, 20th anniversary of winning the league in '05. Haven't had any success in Europe in 2 decades because Dinamo since 2005 has won the league every single time except for 1 year, Rijeka.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
And then in a season that you sign 2 Croatian legends, Rakitic and Perisic, we're hitting the panic button in August. That's bizarre. Just think about that.
But it just that it shows you the reality of where Hajduk is. That's the reality of the club. It's a big circus. We don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of just bad decisions over and over again. Bad decisions, bad decisions, bad decisions. You know, stop bringing all the mediocre foreigners and just let the kids play. That's it. Let them finish third, fourth. Give them a year or two to play together, and then you're going to be getting offers for these kids once they start, you know, showing that they can play. That's what it is.
Moj Hajduče, moj Hajduk for the diaspora. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. It's gonna be a long season. It's gonna be an emotional roller coaster for you, but we'll be in touch. We're gonna bring you back in with Novakovic and the boys when they're done goofing around on quad right now and hula hula. But Zorić, thanks for the time. As
It was
always,
fun.
you know your Croatian sports family around here, and I guess we'll have to do better next time.
That's it. It was fun as always. Thanks for having me on.
All right. See you, Zorić. See you,
All right,
Croatian
buddy.
Sports. We'll do better next time.
Talk soon.